Good morning, Michael Walsh here with Roger Norgal. Welcome to Norwal Farm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, ring the notification bell, and hit the like button. That helps our channel. Also, if you would please leave us a comment and share this video with a friend. It's Sunday, October 19th, a beautiful autumn day. In this video, we're going to give you an update on the fall lamb crop, and we got the results back on what caused the abortions in the ewes, so I'll have a discussion about that. So let's get started. And once again, thank you for joining us at Norwal Farm. Sunday morning, October the 19th, we've had a bit of a weather change. Yesterday it was nearly 75, and then a cold front came through, and now it's in the probably 50s. We got an additional half inch of rain overnight, so it really helped out. The pasture's really starting to come up and look green. That's it right there in front of us. We'll go in here and check the sheep. So we're in the barn. There's 7 ewes and their lambs here. All the lambs are about a week old. They were born from the 11th to the 14th of October, and today is the 19th. The 2 triplet sets, they're 5 days old. They're 2 days younger. So the grouping's doing really well. Lambs are over there starting to eat the mineral already. We just started doing that the last couple of days. I've got to get a creep set up for them too. Our plan is to move these outside probably Wednesday. We're supposed to have a little bit more rain. Triplets appear to be doing well. I'm going to take the divider gate down and let these run together, and they'll have that side of the feeder. They're really eating the feed now. That feeder was full yesterday and drinking a lot more water because they're really starting to produce a lot of milk, and so their appetite goes up and their water consumption goes up. So we're going to do that today. We're going to feed them grain now, get them all fed, and then we'll go down and get the baleage. That shows the importance of having mineral available for the lambs. They're, like I said, just about a week's old, and that's loose mineral. It has salt in it, but that's how they get the selenium, vitamin E, all the vitamins and minerals. And if you have block mineral, lambs they can't lick enough to get it, and they really go through this right away. So I don't give any selenium injections to the lambs. I haven't had a problem with white muscle disease. Feed a really high quality mineral, and it has worked really well for me so far. So now we're going to take down the gate separating the triplets and let them run together. Just took the divider gates down, and you can see they're sorting it out. The lambs will have to figure out whose mom is, and the ewes are very protective. They push away the lambs that aren't theirs. So they'll have this sorted out in short order. Gives them more space, and yet they're in here where we can watch them, keep a close eye on them, make sure everybody's doing okay. Got to get some fresh bedding in here too. But so far so good. I just unpackaged this. I hadn't used it before, but these are the connecting rods. There were 3 wire panels and then the creep gate, so there's a little hole there, and you can see these are corkscrew. So that's what connects the 2 wire panels on corners, and then you also connect the creep gate to it as well. We're going to modify it a little bit because we're going to use a solid side of the barn, and I'm going to set the creep pen up for the lambs using this and the wire panels we have. I put those rods in here, and you can see it holds the panel in, and then I wired it here. I got that little hole there, but the wire wouldn't go through there. But this will keep it from sliding back. Did the same thing over there. It's wired up there so it doesn't push back. These corkscrew wires here is around like so, and you just turn it, and it works its way all the way down, and it just incorporates both of those panels together. So we'll get those installed. That was very easy to install. It just went right down, and as you can see, it's secure. They're not going to pull that apart. I won't need anything on that other side. It's against the wall, and it's secured over there. So now we'll get the trough hung and get some grain in there for them. I had this set for the bigger lambs and kids, so we'll have to make the adjustments on the bars so that the lambs can go through, but yet the ewes can't. So we'll get that done. I have those bars evenly spaced, but you can see there, that lamb's fairly wide. So I'm gonna move one of those over and just give them a little bit wider space so they're not touching those bars. Those PVC pipe linings, that allows them to turn, makes it easier for them to go in and out. But I'll just move the second one just over one hole. Adjusted that gate, and I actually lowered that horizontal one notch on this end because it wasn't even. That's probably wide enough a sheep can stick her head through, but I don't think she can get her body through. So that should work okay. I think actually what I'll do is I'll move this one over one because it's half the distance of there. That'll give us two equal size holes, and it'll be a little smaller so the sheep, so that the mothers don't get too much of their shoulder through. I like that spacing a bit better. It's not as wide as it was before, and gives them a little extra room for the thicker, bigger lambs to go through. So we'll get the trough hung up and then get some grain in there. I just hung the feeder on that wire. It's probably a little lower than it needs to be, but for the smaller lambs, I want to be able to make sure they can reach in and find the grain. As they grow, I can raise it. They're not going to be in here a whole lot longer. That's the trough from this side. Probably another 3 to 5 days. And they're curious. I'll come in and explore. Do it now. It's only been up maybe 10 minutes. I just put some fresh bedding in. And those are some of the older lambs. The black speckled one sticking its head in is the oldest lamb, and its twin is over there with the single dot on its rear end. So, and then that's the little one that we're supplementing with the bottle. He's actually doing pretty good. But you can see they're nibbling that straw. So we gotta get it set up for them. There we go. One's come in already. So and it's just the right height. We'll get some grain in there and get them started. Like I said, they're a week old and they start eating pretty quickly. So lambs will do the best weight gain in the first 6 to 8 weeks of life. So that's when you want to take advantage of that and provide the proper nutrition for them so you can get the most weight gain at that time. Take advantage of that time. This is actually what they call a grower ration. It's 16% protein. There's roasted soybeans in there. There's one right there. Cracked oats, soybean oil meal. And there's medication in there to prevent urinary crystals. I've used that on fattening lambs and the ewes both. Didn't go to a finishing ration because we want the fattening lambs to stay lean and continue to grow. So that's worked well. This is fine for the ewes, but we will go to a creep ration. It's higher in protein. It's like 18% protein. And I think it's higher in carbohydrates too. So we'll get some of that mixed up and just literally put that in, and you can see one of the lambs is in there already nibbling on it. And that's why we use the creep feed station, because you can see the ewes can smell it and they're sticking their heads through trying to get in. So this is just a place where the lambs can go in and eat their own. But like I say, I literally just put that grain in there. And you can see he's nibbling right away, or she is. So glad we got that up today. So I'll call the mill on Monday or Tuesday and get some creep ration mixed up. See if anybody else comes in. But it doesn't take them long, and once they know it's there, they develop a taste for it, and they'll start eating it on a regular basis. Yeah, I'm glad I narrowed that, because a little wider they could have wedged a shoulder in there and they'd bend those rods. Put the trough at the back of the pen, because if you put it along the side, they can stick their head in there and eat out of the trough. So I think this will work pretty well. Yesterday and then last night and this morning, I think yesterday we had about 1/10 or 2/10, and then we got a good 1/2 inch last night. So you can see there we've had almost 3/4 of an inch of rain again. So in addition to that other 1/2 inch, that is excellent. That's what we really needed for our new pasture, and it seems to be growing pretty well. Well, these are the two ewes with the triplets, and they've seemed to have sorted things out pretty well. So it's really simplified the feeding process now, because all the ewes can access the hay feeder. So We just put baleage in there and they can eat to their heart's content. I put more in because they are eating more. Their milk production really increases, and it maxes at about 4 to 6 weeks, and then it drops off. So that's why we want to capitalize on this age on the lambs, make sure they have creep to capitalize on that rapid growth and weight gain at that time. And then, like I said, the milk production on the ewes really drops off at about 6 weeks down to about 8 weeks. And after that, they don't really produce much. And by that time, we want the lambs eating hay and grain pretty well. And we plan on weaning these lambs at about 8 to 9 weeks of age and keep them on hay and grain. And then these ewes, we're going to go to short cycling, what they call short cycling. We'll use the cedars again, and we'll be breeding them back probably around the 12th of January. And that will give them lamb again in June. So the goal is to have each group of ewes, they'll be lambing about every 8 months. And on a short cycling, or they call it accelerated lambing program, you get 3 crops of lambs in 2 years from the ewes. So you actually get an extra crop of lambs. And as long as you provide the proper nutrition and everything, it's not hard on the ewes because they can more than grow that many lambs. And so that gives you a much reduced input cost, total feed, for the number of lambs. You'll use a little more grain because obviously you're raising more lambs. And as you can see now, look at those lambs in there. There are 4 in there and 3 are eating. And that's been in there probably less than an hour. So they're at the age where they're starting to nibble. And I noticed a couple days ago they were nibbling on the grain at the trough where the ewes were eating. So this is the age you start them. And like I said, we'll get some creep feed mixed up for them. That's higher protein and higher energy level. So because they need that when they're young growing lambs like this. But very pleased so far with this group of lambs. We got off to a rocky start, but ending up pretty well. So doing well today. We sent the placentas in on the ewe that aborted the lamb, and also on one of the ewes that had a premature lamb. Sent those into the lab, University of Wisconsin-Madison, and they isolated Toxoplasma gondii from those placentas on both of them. Toxoplasma or toxoplasmosis is spread in cat feces. Cats are the definitive host, and other animals can be affected by it. That is the organism that they always say pregnant women should not clean litter boxes, because if a cat sheds that, it can actually cause problems with women when they're pregnant with the baby. So anyway, we don't have any cats that we know of around here. We've seen a stray cat here and there, but it is spread in the feces. And so then when the ewes ingest the organism, it infects the epithelium of the placenta, and then that makes the placenta separate from the uterus, and they lose the lambs about 10 days to 2 weeks before lambing. So I guess it's actually a good thing, because they will develop immunity to that. So the ewes that aborted and or had premature lambs, we were going to sell them because we thought it was another disease called chlamydia, but and that's more serious because there can be shedder ewes and that type of thing. But with the toxoplasmosis, once the ewes have it, they usually develop an immunity to it. So you may have an abortion storm early on, and like we did, we had 4 ewes out of 14 that had problems. But those ewes will develop immunity, so we will keep those and breed them again for next year. And we'll just have to ride this out. There's no treatment for it. It's possible we might have contaminated hay that we bought. Maybe it's coming in through the hay. We don't know that for sure, but we'll just kind of ride it out. And hopefully we're through the worst of it, and we'll see how it goes. So I guess all things considered, that was one of the better things it could have been. Could have been a lot worse. So that's the results, and thanks you for joining us.